That's what I blurted out when I came home 3 days earlier than expected and found a stranger in my cabin. Pots were boiling. Clothes were scattered in my bedroom as if she had lived there for weeks. Then she calmly says, "Barbara from the HOA said it's okay." Quick question, where are you watching this from? Drop it below and imagine yourself in my shoes. Rage doesn't even cover it. What would you do if someone said that? Stick around, because what happened next? Pure chaos. As a security installer, I'm trained to notice the smallest signs of intrusion. And today, something felt off. The afternoon sun was blaring, yet my porch light was glaring like a beacon. I never leave that on. A tiny detail, but it screamed something's wrong. My gut twisted as I slid the key into the lock. The knob turned smoothly, too smoothly for a door that should have been locked for days. I pushed it open and froze. A wave of garlic and simmering tomatoes hit me like a punch. Someone was cooking in my house, not just cooking, living in it. I stepped inside and quietly closed the door behind me. Every instinct screamed for me to check the corners and clear the rooms like I was back in training. But I moved slowly, scanning my home. A purse on the table, a lipstick-stained mug, shoes by the door. My house screamed someone else had been living there. The couch had an unfamiliar throw draped over it, and a drying rack stood in the living room. Women's clothes gently swayed in the breeze of the ceiling fan. Then, the humming started. Soft, cheerful, like someone having the best day ever. My pulse thudded in my ears. For a split second, I wondered if I had entered the wrong house. But the family photo on the wall quickly reassured me it was mine. I rounded the corner to the kitchen, and there she was. A woman in her 50s, short brown hair, wearing a neat floral apron, like she owned the place. When she saw me, she froze, the wooden spoon clattering to the tile. Her face drained of color, like a candle blown out. "Oh my God," she whispered, backing into the counter. You're not supposed to be here." I stared at her, forcing my voice steady. "Excuse me," I said, each word sharp. "What exactly are you doing in my house?" Her hands trembled, gripping the counter like it might save her. For a moment, silence stretched between us, taut and ready to snap. Finally, words tumbled out of her mouth, desperate. "Barbara said you'd be gone for 2 weeks. She told me it was safer for me to stay here instead of where I was before." The name hit me like a stone. Barbara, the HOA president. I glanced at the security panel on the wall. My stomach flipped. The system was powered down. Not disarmed, completely off. Someone had intentionally killed my home's first line of defense. My jaw clenched. "Barbara let you in?" I asked slowly, my voice now low, dangerous in its calm. She nodded quickly. "Yes, she has a key. She said it was part of a community safety program. She even told me how to turn off the alarm." My fists curled at my sides. Barbara didn't just have a key. She had my codes. A rush of anger flooded my thoughts. Every install I'd ever done, every warning I'd given clients about not sharing access. And here I was, the idiot who trusted a lock in a neighborhood where the HOA made its own rules. I swallowed hard. "Pack your stuff," I said, voice flat. "You're leaving." "Now." She froze, her breath hitching. Instead of moving, she grabbed her phone, trembling fingers dialing. "Barbara, he's back early. He says I have to leave." I could hear Barbara's voice explode from the speaker even across the kitchen, sharp, furious, the kind that could peel paint off walls. "Chloe." She finally told me her name. Looked at me, eyes wide and pleading. "She's coming over. Don't let him make me leave until she gets here." I laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. "Force you out? This is my house. You've got 5 minutes," I said, moving around the house like a stranger, cataloging every violation. Drawers cracked open, a spare blanket on the couch, a toothbrush in my bathroom that wasn't mine. Every detail felt like a personal violation. Chloe kept muttering apologies, repeating, "I thought it was okay," and Barbara said it was fine, but I wasn't hearing it anymore. My mind was spiraling, mapping out every scenario, every legal breach, and every ounce of leverage Barbara thought she had. This wasn't random. This was planned. Then I saw it again. Her clothes swaying on the drying rack, flags marking conquered territory. This wasn't a 2-day emergency. It was a setup. Barbara had been watching my schedule, waiting for the right moment, cutting off my security like flipping a switch. My chest burned with fury and something colder, violation. And beneath that, resolve hardened like steel. Barbara had wanted a war. She had just drafted the wrong guy. A car door slammed outside, followed by the sound of heels clicking on my walkway, sharp, purposeful steps. Barbara was here. I caught sight of her through the window, a flash of navy blue, gray hair perfectly sprayed under the porch light. My jaw locked as the front door creaked open without so much as a knock. Barbara didn't enter. She invaded. She was already sizing me up, her eyes sharp, calculating like a hawk. Her presence filled every corner of the room. Her eyes locked onto me with that look of smug authority, and I knew instantly. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a power play. She thought she had already won. "Grant," she said, voice cold as steel, "you returned early without notifying the HOA." I stood tall. "Excuse me. This is my house. I don't need to notify anyone when I come home." Her smile was a blade. "Community living requires cooperation. You left your property vulnerable. I ensured it was safe." I stepped closer, my voice steady. "By moving someone into my house without asking me." Barbara's chin lifted. "We have a duty to help residents in crisis." I shot back. "She's not a resident. And you have no right to break into my house." The air between us tightened, raw tension. My pulse surged in my ears. Barbara didn't flinch. "You're overreacting." "It was temporary." "Temporary." My laugh came out hollow. "You bypassed my security, gave away my home, and now you're telling me I'm overreacting?" Barbara's smile turned icy. "You'll regret this." She lingered for a moment, then turned to Chloe. "Pack your things," she ordered, her tone dripping with false pity. Chloe hesitated, eyes filled with fear and apology. I could feel the violation in every corner of my own home. Barbara, having done what she wanted, turned to leave, but not before her final words echoed in the room. Device under his car, probably Barbara's way of catching late-night parking offenses. Each confession was like a shovel digging deeper into her grave. This wasn't about community care. It was organized greed wrapped in pastel newsletters and fake smiles. And for 2 years, nobody fought back, because fear is a hell of a silencer. For me, it was real quiet again. No pounding knocks. No fake fines shoved under my door. Just mornings on the porch with a mug of coffee steaming against the chill, the lake rippling like glass beyond the pines. I fixed what she broke, patched the door frame, rearmed the security system, even planted new flowers by the steps. Funny how simple things feel like a luxury when you've spent months at war in your own home. For the first time since this nightmare started, I wasn't looking over my shoulder. One night, while cleaning a cabinet, I found something that stopped me cold. Barbara's master key. I'd picked it up from the grass the day after her arrest and forgotten it in a jar. I held it under the lamp, its teeth catching the light like a predator's grin. This tiny piece of metal had been her crown, her weapon, her gospel, and now just a dead relic in my palm. I screwed the lid tight on that mason jar and slid it beside my copy of the HOA bylaws. Let it sit there forever. A warning in glass. Power borrowed is power that burns you. Then the internet delivered the encore Barbara never wanted. A neighbor uploaded a slow-motion video of her arrest set to dramatic music. It hit TikTok first, then everywhere else. Captions screamed, "HA, Queen dethroned, caught in 4K. Someone turned her meltdown into a dance meme." Another photoshopped her mugshot onto a poster for Orange is the New Black. My favorite, a photo of the master key wearing a crown with the words, "Long live the Queen." Oh wait, I laughed so hard I spilled coffee across my counter. For once, karma wasn't silent. It was trending. Sometimes I think back to that first day, unlocking my own door, feeling like an intruder in my own house. Barbara didn't just break rules, she tried to break peace. And she failed. Victory didn't feel like a speech or a parade. It sounded like my porch swing creaking again. It smelled like garlic from my kitchen because I was cooking in it this time, not some stranger. And it looked like a lock clicking shut. Mine, not hers. That's what winning really is, taking back what was yours all along. The neighborhood changed too. You could feel it. Kids riding bikes without someone snapping pictures for violations. People waving instead of glaring over hedges. Barbecues on weekends instead of secret board meetings plotting new fines. Even the air felt lighter, like the whole street exhaled at once. We didn't just fix bylaws, we fixed the silence. Fear doesn't live here anymore. Last night, as the moon spilled silver across the lake, I sat on my porch and stared at that mason jar on the shelf. Just glass and metal. Nothing more. But to me, it's a monument. Proof that crowns crack, keys rust, and tyrants fall. Barbara thought she ruled this street. Now her kingdom's a jail cell. You know, sitting here now, looking out at the lake with the wind cutting little ripples across it, I can't help but laugh at how insane this all got. A few months ago, I was just trying to live quietly, keep my head down, and somehow I ended up in a full-blown war with a woman who thought a title gave her the keys to everyone's life. And if there's one thing I learned from this mess, it's this. Never underestimate how far control freaks will go when they think nobody's watching. Paperwork, power trips, fake smiles, they're weapons, and they'll use them. But the flip side? Receipts, cameras, and a spine. Those win wars. Anyway, I'm curious. If this had happened to you, would you have gone nuclear like I did, or just packed up and moved? Share your thoughts down below, because I really want to hear your take. And hey, if you liked hanging out in my chaos for a bit, hit that like button. Subscribe for more HOA nightmares. And yeah, if you feel like buying me a coffee for surviving this circus, that little thanks button is sitting right below the video. No pressure, but it helps keep the stories of QA rolling. Alright, I'm out of here. Catch you in the next one, and hopefully, it won't involve cops on my porch at midnight. That's it for now from Stories of QA. Make sure you're subscribed and have the bells on. The next story might just top this.